Hello there, kia ora. One of the most common questions I get every week is, what can we do about, well, all of whatever this is? And the answer is usually to make sure that you vote, make sure that you get involved in the democratic process through things like select committee or getting out and voting in local body elections, making sure that the people around you understand the impacts of the decisions that they make in government, and where possible, keep yourself informed because knowledge is power. But if you want to take it up a notch, now is kind of the time to do that. You see, this is the period in the political calendar where parties are gearing up for the next election. I mean, sure, it's at least 4 months away, but there's a lot of planning and prep that goes into it. For example, you might have noticed MPs are hinting at potential policy but avoiding detail. Sometimes they outright point out that the policy is still being finalised. And for each party, that process of finalising them is different. And then they have to announce them. And then they have to sell that policy to the public. Now, personally, I reckon Labour announcing their tax policy the same week that David Seymour takes over as Deputy Prime Minister would suck the oxygen out of his little promotion, especially if they announce a capital gains tax and use Christopher Luxon as an example as to why we need it. I mean, he's the best person on the planet for that right now. But that's not my call to make. The process for gearing up a party for an election is massive, and for some reason, the wealthy seem to pour their money into parties that make them wealthier, usually at the expense of the rest of us in some way. So these campaigns with less resources have to rely on more grassroots campaign styles, and they often can't pay for campaign experts the same way as the current coalition. Like when the National Party hired the world's most elite right-wing social media company run by former Young National Party members that once got into trouble for renaming the UK Conservative Twitter account into Fact Check UK in an effort to capitalise on a pre-existing follower audience while posing as independent fact-checkers during a televised leaders debate between Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn, where they spread disinformation about Corbyn's policies and the outcomes that they would lead to. And have been hired by multiple organisations multiple times to run disinformation campaigns to discredit people opposed to the major polluters, anti-cycling groups and organisations accessing NHS medical data for profit, that were hired by National at the last election to humanise Christopher Luxon, and are now doing the same thing for Australia's unpopular, out-of-touch, bald Conservative leader, right down to the slogan. Anyway, a lot of these grassroots campaigns are kicking off right now across the country. Well, the planning stages anyway. There are a number of local chapter meetings going on where delegates and members start to hash out plans, look at candidate viability, and in some cases ask the only person in the room under the age of 50 if they know how to use the Facebook to get votes. And it's a great opportunity to get more involved in shaping the next election outcome if you've got the time to help. Now, everyone is going to have different views as to which party suits them best, but there's always a need for door knockers, event teams, social media management, and a huge range of other skills that every campaign needs. It can be a really good way to learn more about the communities around you that you might not be involved in directly and see firsthand the challenges for any MP in making sure their communities are represented and taken care of. So if this is something you might be keen to do to deal with, well, all of whatever this is, then check out your party of choice locally and see if they're after some help and support. And if not, remember that voting, getting involved in the democratic process in other ways, and letting others know how the government decisions are impacting you and your loved ones, that's still an incredibly powerful tool towards making the changes that you want to see. Hey, thanks for checking out today's video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe so you get more updates as we go along. We deal with these guys for the rest of the year.